What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rivera Urban Homestead. It is Sunday, February 6th. First thing we are going to do today is go to the compost area. We're going to start the bin that is empty. We're going to get that one going so we can let the other one rest until we use it in the garden in the spring. So we're going to do some compost work. We're going to start a new compost bin. Let's do it. Okay, so before we get started, why should we make compost? What does it do for us? What are the benefits of compost? Well, compost will definitely fertilize your soil in your raised beds naturally. Compost is plant material that is composted down along with other recycled materials and food scraps. And what that does is it encourages worms, microbiology, and also fungi, which is needed for the garden soil. So let's read the meaning of compost in Wikipedia. Compost is a mixture of ingredients used to fertilize and improve the soil. It's commonly prepared by decomposted plants and food waste and recycled organic material. The result in the mixture is nutrients and beneficial organisms such as worms, like we just said, and fungi. So basically, compost is a very important thing in the garden. You want compost in there. You want composted plant matter and even the chicken manure that goes into it, all of those food scraps, all the vegetables and little pieces of everything that we put in there. You want all that to compost down and be in your garden for the next season. So let's start with my container. Let's just start from fresh. Let's go to the container. I'll show you what I use to make my compost. Now, I'm sure most of you have already seen these, but these are just big old Craftsman, like Rubbermaids from Lowe's. Buy the biggest one you can afford and that you can have room for. But I have two of these. This is the empty one we're going to be filling up. And as you can see, I just made random holes in it all the way around it. Even on the bottom. See, the sand coming out of it. But even on the bottom. So there, now worms can get in, other insects can get in. And you want that. You want those insects getting in there and helping it compost down. They eat it, they poop. You know, worm castings are really good. Boom. And then that's a big old vessel just waiting to just layer and add food scraps. And I feel this keeps rodents out unless they make those holes bigger and get in. But so far we've been pretty fortunate with no rodents. Here you see this one's pretty full already. I'm just going to let it start composting down. But we add everything to it, guys. Any scraps, eggshells, fruit pieces, vegetable pieces, all of it. Look at the fungi growing right there. Oh, and there's even a seedling growing, but that ain't gonna happen because I'm gonna mix this all in. But you got little bugs in here crawling around. It's just amazing, and it just composts in. Wow, look at this big old plant growing. So what I'll do is I'll mix this all in again and just let it sit until we're ready to use it for the spring. Let's do a quick mix and see how it looks. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at this, see, and there's all kinds of bugs in here, all kinds of little roly-polies and ants and worms, but look at this. This is all from food scraps and leaves and grass clippings. Oh, it's just beautiful, beautiful soil conditioner for your garden. So now we're going to just let the rest of the produce and stuff that's in there, we're going to just let it compost down. I won't touch this one again until spring, till we're ready to put it in the garden to plant. Okay, so what are the first things I put into a new bin? Well, you want some bulk. So you want like some straw or some leaves or grass clippings, something with a lot of material in there before you start adding food scraps. First thing I'm going to do is go into the chicken run, and I'm going to pull out some of the composting material in there, along with inside the coop. I'm going to collect all the poop in the roosting area, and that's going to start it off. So we're going to do chicken material, we're going to do coop poop, and then we're also going to do one of those bags of leaves that I collected last week. We'll crumble them up a little and we'll mix all that together, and that'll give us a nice layer to start. Plus we're going to take some of the compost out of the one that's almost finished and we'll add that to it just to get the microorganisms and the bugs and everything already populated. First thing, let me get some of their compost that they're making in there. I'm thinking probably maybe 2 5-gallon buckets, so let me get that set up. Okay, so there's the first 5-gallon bucket. I got some of the chicken run compost in there, and then I went into the coop and got all the poop and some of the straw. So let me go dump that in there, and we'll get one more load of this. And of course, when you're doing compost, you definitely want to have your mixture of nitrogen and carbons, your greens and your browns. I don't really have much green right now. Maybe some of these leaves that we're going to put in aren't completely browned out yet, but the chicken manure is really high in nitrogen. So that's your green source right there, nitrogen, chicken manure. So that'll help get the process going. All right, so let's add some leaves now. I won't be shy, just add a bunch of them. Then we'll get it mixed together. So right now I already have a good base that I could just leave it like that and start adding food scraps. And then when the grass starts growing, you add clippings and you add more leaves as it breaks down. And you just keep adding it in there and it'll break down. Nature will do its course. Next thing we need though is water. You want to wet it down really good the initial time. Okay, now I'm going to add some of the finished into there, just to help it get started. All right. And now from here on out, I will just start adding all of my stuff to this one. Let that one chill until we work it into the garden. And that's it, man. Throw the lid on. Let nature take its course. Okay, so what are some things that I don't put in the compost? I don't put any meat in there. I don't put any dairy, no cheese, none of that stuff. Just all fruits and vegetables, grass clippings, leaves, chicken manure. I could put the rabbit's bedding manure in there as well with all those little wood chips and the rabbit poop. That would work out great as well. But I'm going to keep using that for the bananas behind me. So yeah, I put pretty much everything in there. We have a little Tupperware that we have on our counter inside, and we just fill it up with all the little scraps. If you're peeling carrots or potatoes or anything, add all that into there. The ends of your salad that you don't eat, add that into your little compost bin. And I'm probably out by the compost, I would say, every other day with my little Tupperware full. And I go put it in there. Sometimes I stir it, sometimes I water it a little. But for the most part, I just keep loading it up and let nature do its thing. Let me show you the little vessel we use inside to collect our scraps. Nothing too amazing. Just a rubber little Tupperware thing here. That's it. We just leave it right there, and we're just disciplined now that we put whatever starts going bad. We didn't eat those grapes. We should have cut them up and gave them to the chickens because they like grapes, but I didn't even notice that. But anyway, that'll just sit there until it gets full. And then when it gets full, take it outside, throw it in the compost. Close the lid, and that's it. You saw the magic happen in that bigger one, man. It's loaded up with compost. That's going to be a great addition to the garden when we get it in there. And I just started composting like this maybe about a year ago. I don't know, my back videos show it. Someone suggested I make playlists so I can organize some of the stuff, like my compost videos and stuff like that, which is probably true. I might need to go in there and organize my my page a little bit. But Yeah, I think it's been a year since I've been using those big ones, and that big one that's full, ready to go almost, I want to say like 6 months went into that worth of material, so not too bad. What I used to do is just out in a pile on the side of the house, but the rodents get into it. It's just like a free-for-all. So at least this is a little more contained. I have tons of geckos that go in those holes and live in there. They love it. They lay eggs in there, so I also have a nice gecko lizard population because of the compost. But yeah, I found truly that those big black bins work great for me, and it's low key. You put it on the side of your house, that's it, man. Even if you don't have like room to do big compost, you buy a littler one and put it out on your patio and just start adding stuff to it. You wouldn't want to put holes in the bottom or nothing so it doesn't fall through to your neighbors, but you could add your own worms to it if you wanted to, if you think about it. There's different ways of doing compost, but I find this is good for me and keeping the rodents away. Oh, and another thing, if you don't have a lot of property to make a lot of compost, make a little bit and use it as compost tea instead of actually adding it directly to your pots or whatever you have. You can just make the tea out of it, let it soak for a while, and pour it on your plants outside, and that'll benefit them too, and your compost will go a lot further. Alright, so here in the back room where my goldfish used to be, that real old goldfish, when it passed away, we cleaned off the tank and cleaned this table off. This is the north-facing window. This is the one that faces out in the backyard. So I want to start growing some plants indoors from seed. I don't want to start them out in the garden. I want to do them right here in a controlled area. I think this table is going to work great. Let's check it out. As you know, I use a ammo container, a military ammo container for all of my seeds. And so I was just going through them to see what we want to do. But I also organized them a little better. I put them all in Ziploc bags. Like, this is all my different radishes. This one here is all my different green beans, pole beans, bush beans. All my salads, lettuce, kales, bok choy. My peppers, my beets, and I think in here is broccoli and cabbage as well. And then all my different onions. So it's kind of nice. They're all in little Ziploc bags now. And I'll just put these back, because this isn't what we're planting to start. Perfect. Okay, so what are we going to start indoors? I think we're doing some Cubanelle peppers. I got to get the poblanos right, so we're doing poblanos again. My tomato plants out there all died, so we are going to redo Cherokee purples. I love them, and that Prax cherry. And yes, I'm starting more cucumbers inside. I know I suck at cucumbers, but we will get some cucumbers. We're going to try different methods with these this time to get a better result. But the first thing I want to do is start them inside with good potting mix, get them having a nice root system before we put them out in the garden. So I just went to Lowe's and got some seed starting potting mix. Nothing special. And as you know, I always start my seeds in these little clear cups. I like to, because then you can see the root system when they get bigger. You can see when they're starting to get root bound and you need to switch them out. And you can look at the moisture level in there as well. So very nice. I use these a lot. And then I just put little labels on them and then just write right over them what I'm doing. Alright, so we went and got more clear cups because I couldn't find enough around the area. These are just 9-ounce clear cups. Just going to label them up and we'll add potting mix. Real easy. Throw the seeds in. You know how to do it. Alright, just took some painter's tape because that's all I can find in the garage. A black Sharpie. And just taped them up, labeled them up. So we got the Pickling Cucumber Boston here, 2 cups. The Straight 8 cucumbers, Cubanelle, Poblanos, Cherokee Purple, and Prax Cherry. We're going to do 2 cups of each. We're going to do 2 holes in each cup. So we're definitely going to get some germination of some of them. Alright, let's get to filling the cups up. Just going to literally put them in there. Fill it up first like that and then just push them down. Add a little more. Just like that, and you want to leave a little bit of space because when you fill it up you don't want the water to overflow. So Leave about a ½ inch or so at the top. Let me get these all filled up in fast time. And just like that, they're all filled. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to water it. I'm going to let this settle in, get all nice and moist, then we'll plant. And with the seed starting mix, it does take a while for it to actually absorb all the water. You see how the water's just sitting on top? But we're just going to let them all soak in. You can always like squeeze the glass a little just to create some air pockets for it to go in. But for now we're just going to let it sit, let it soak in, then we'll come back and seed them. And for lunch, Mama's making what? Chicken curry?
Yeah.
Chicken curry. So back to the compost, like I was saying, I showed you this earlier. It was already empty. Now it's already full. Everything goes into it. Onion skins, outer pieces of the carrot skins, tips of peppers, seeds, everything. She just loads it up for me, and every day I come out here and dump it in. So let's put this into the new pile. And just like that, the composting bin has begun. Alright, so all the moisture is I whistled. So all the moisture is distributed throughout the cups. As you can see, it's all dark all the way around in there. No light spots. I just take my little chopstick here. We're going to do about a ½ inch. 1 hole, 2 holes toward the center, and then just drop in 2 seeds per hole. That'll ensure you're going to get some germination. And just like that, we have holes everywhere. Let's get the seeds dropped in, and then I'll show you how we're going to set up the lighting system. So I already did the Prax Cherry, Cherokee Purple, Poblano, Cubanelle. Then I realized my camera wasn't on, so here we go with the straight 8 cucumber. That's the next one. Yeah, we're trying cucumber again because, I don't know, I like to be tortured. These are pretty big. We're going to just do 1 per hole on the cucumbers. Alright. So now we're all seeded out. We're going to just cover them a little. Alright, there we go. Let me get the seeds put back away, and we'll move to setting up the lighting system. Okay, so here's the quick setup. Just some landscape pavers, nothing big. They're about 4 or 5 inches above the cups right now. But these lights, I have 2 of them. They're made for microgreens and stuff. They're Nanotech 5T reflector, powered by Sunblaster. They're really good lights, very bright. Check it out. 1, 2. So when you put both of these on, plus just the regular light from outside, these seedlings will get plenty of light. We don't need them on right now, obviously, until they germinate. Once they germinate, light right away. So there we go. There's our little grow area. Those cups actually fit perfectly the length of the lights, so that was cool. And we will keep you updated. Alright guys, so that's going to be a wrap for the day. It's already Sunday. This next week, I'm off Thursday and Friday because I have AC company coming in to redo all my ductwork in the attic. It's finally getting done. I got to get that AC working correctly before summertime. So, biting the bullet, getting all the attic ductwork done. Thursday and Friday they should be done. So before, we'll go up and take a look before, and then we'll go look up afterwards. But new compost bin going. That's how I start mine. Just some material from around the yard. That's how I do it. And then also started out those new seedlings. That's going to be awesome. We'll get some new ones started indoors for now. Tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. But we'll get ready for spring because it's going to be here pretty soon around this place. So that's all I got for this week, guys. You have a good day. We will talk to you next weekend.